right, y'all, we are back with Welcome to Plathville. This is season 7, episode 8, and this episode follows, the days leading up to Lydia's wedding. And my God, we had some filler episodes here before this episode, but this episode was good. I'd say it was honestly one of the best of this season. And really what you're looking forward to is some, Veronica interacting with the family after not really interacting with them for months. Micah and Isaac kind of foreshadowing what's going to happen with Isaac. Micah and Isaac get into the brawl. And then we finally see some more concrete substance of why the Plaths don't like Zach. And it's really, really interesting. So let's jump right into it. I've got my notes.
It's really fake and gay.
All right, so the day before I do, but we actually start, let's say scene 1. It's actually 4 days before the wedding. And as you guys know, Zach has moved into Barry's and he's there living with Isaac as well as the little girls, who spend part of their time with Barry, part of their time with Kim. So Zach's room at Barry's is messy as hell. I'll put up a screenshot. And I get it. He's about to move permanently. Sorry for my team's message. I know that that's triggering for some of you. So we know that, he's about to move in with Lydia and he's had to do like a very temporary move to Barry's. So I get that it can be messy, but you are at your prospective in-laws house. You got to make a good impression here. What is he doing? And this is my part where initially in the season, I was kind of thinking, I would feel the same way, if some guy comes in, tries to marry my sister within 3 months and is trying to lock her down. I'm suspicious. I'm speaking out, whatever. And I still feel that way. When I kind of went over to Zach's side because he was dealing with the Ethan stuff well. But here I'm kind of seeing both sides now. Whereas I went straight from, I was on the Plath side, then I'm all on Zach's side. Now I'm kind of torn. I don't really know what to think. I think it's just not a good situation overall, to be honest. So then Zach reveals his blue suit and he is like, oh, you guys get a sneak peek. The way he speaks about it, I will say, I don't think he's gay, but, people get mad when people say he's gay. But the edit he's getting right now is really not helping because the way he's talking about it, and specifically, he says that blues particularly makes his eyes pop. He mentions this several times in this episode. Zach also mentions that he really appreciates living at Barry's because the food is free. So he's not helping pay for groceries at Barry's. So obviously, he's not paying for groceries. I mean, personally, if a man is staying at his prospective in-laws house anywhere over 4 or 5 days, you need to be offering, and if they say no, especially if you're a grown-ass man, you need to be basically put money in their room or something. So Ethan is staying on the couch at this point when we're 4 days until the wedding. And while filming, Mariah arrives home from Montana. Mariah says she can already breathe better in Montana. Obviously, moving isn't going to solve her problems, but I do hope that the space away from the family is helpful for her mental health because she's obviously not doing that great, or at least wasn't in the last few seasons. Also, with Ethan staying there, who knows when he got into town, but they at least have that 4 days together up until the wedding. I do wonder what shade cameras just didn't catch because they weren't filming or they had already left for the day between Ethan and Zach. So then we skip forward to 2 days until the wedding. Ethan says he hasn't had a serious conversation with Lydia since the last one he had, which I think was the only real one he really had, face-to-face with Lydia. But apparently that morning, Zach had spent the morning helping Ethan with the hood of his car, his Model A car. Then Micah calls to say Veronica might, and he's very clear on might, be coming to the wedding. She had RSVP'd no the week before for her own mental health. Lydia was kind about it on the phone, but it's obvious that she's stressed, and then she's adding another person onto that is particularly volatile. Ethan then says it's wrong of Veronica to change her mind. Ethan accidentally then says Olivia's name instead of Veronica's, and then he says, oh, I'm getting my girls mixed up, which was just very awkward. And then everyone, including Zach, goes on a ride in Ethan's vintage car. Zach says he thinks Ethan has had a change of heart about him. And then in a talking head, Ethan says he still really does not like Zach. So then we move towards scene 3. And this is the biggest part. I'd say this is 30 out of 40 minutes of the episode. It's the day before the wedding / the wedding rehearsal, of course. So we start out with Kim in the kitchen. She's staying at the farm with Isaac and Ethan and their girls. Kim says there are a lot of mixed emotions all around. She initially thought it was too quick, and now she's saying not only does she think it's too quick, but she's seeing red flags. She's really more concerned than she was before. Kim sees a lack of initiative, aka Zach doesn't help out with chores when he visits. She says that, quote unquote, she sees a usurping of Lydia's desires. And when she means that, she really means he's not really taking in her ideas for the wedding. Specifically, Lydia wanted hunter green for the wedding color, but Zach said it had to be blue because he pops in his blue suit, and he just really, blue brings, it's just his color, I guess. But it's also, we have to acknowledge that, okay, Kim, like, it is hypocritical of you saying that someone doesn't help with chores, has a lack of initiative, and usurps Lydia's desires, because Kim did exactly that for so many years. I do understand where she's coming from. I would be critical with this information too. It's just that the source it's coming from is a little bit suspicious, and I get the distrust of Zach. I totally do. It's just that some of the family has gone way too far with it. Kim also said since the divorce, Barry wants to be the cool dad. She wished he would have asked more questions before signing off on the marriage. And Kim keeps on going on and on about this, and I'm like, why is Kim the voice of reason right now? It really sucks, because it's like, I don't know who is worse, Ethan or Kim, to be like the messenger of the bad news or the critical news, you know what I mean? So then we move to Barry's talking head. He says he's feeling good and he looks rizzy, which, okay, moving on. Kim fears that Lydia's rushing because she just wants to go to Germany with Zach. And she says that Ethan says they just want to fuck. But honestly, if Ethan is saying this, you can't say that they just want to fuck and that Zach is also gay. Like, those two things, I mean, you could say it's either this or that, but they don't really match up. Kim says they should just go to Germany together, not married, because, why not? So then after all these talking heads, Veronica arrives on the scene. And then so Veronica arrives, and we quickly skip to Kim saying that she thought about getting a feet OnlyFans, which is weird. And then we go back to Veronica, and Veronica runs to the cows to just avoid the family. Apparently the therapist said that Veronica should go to the wedding just in case she does work it out with Micah and the family. She would always regret missing this wedding. But the therapist did say that they should stick together and walk away if need be. So then Micah FaceTimes Isaac, and Isaac is fuming. Zach moved into Barry's house where Isaac lives. According to Isaac, Zach never helped cook or clean. He sat in his dirty room. These are Isaac's words, not mine. In his dirty room until someone cooked food, and then he went to eat it and did not help clean up. Isaac is also very upset because he's unsettled with Veronica's presence. Isaac picks Micah up in his truck, and Micah leaves Veronica at around 22 hours before the wedding, which is exactly what he said he wouldn't do with Veronica. But anyway, Isaac vents to Micah in the truck on the side of the road. Isaac told Barry he's worried that Zach cannot be a provider. Barry said God will provide. Micah said he did help out at his house, but he understands where Isaac is coming from. Now, personally, that would be one of my biggest issues, is like, this man ain't going to work. A grown man needs to go to work. Isaac said he just can't take much more of all of this or he will lose it, which is a good foreshadowing for what actually will happen. So here he's leaning on Micah for support, but later in the night he will turn on Micah. So then Amber walks up to Veronica and says hello very nicely and greets her, because I'm loving Amber. She's giving class, she's giving bigger person. So then Micah finally gets back to the farm. I'm glad to see Ethan greet him and be so nice to him and laughing with him, even though Micah's still with Veronica. I know if my sibling was dating somebody who was having a lot of, issues with the family and then also causing drama, I definitely would take it out on my sibling, I'm sure. So it was nice to see Ethan not really, beating Micah up too bad and just laughing with him. Veronica is actually fairly reasonable when Micah returns an hour later, and she didn't seem even too mad at him. I thought that she was going to absolutely lose it, but she was pretty chill. Ethan helps put out tables, and he just literally just slings them, throws them. Kim comes to calm him down, and she says that they will have a talk with Lydia that night after the rehearsal. And I agree with this. I think they should have done it a long time ago, but I get desperate times take desperate measures. But I think it's important, you know, if you really are concerned about a choice that one of your family members is making, I think you should have like a private talk with them, just so you can say it and then hold your peace, you know what I mean? Okay, then to my surprise, while Veronica's standing out with the cows, Mariah comes up and nicely greets Veronica. Now she just says like, hey Veronica, like I'm glad you can make it. I was honestly proud of Mariah for this because that bitch loves to avoid a confrontation. So I was glad to see her, you know, try to confront things, even if it was like just so tiny. It is like light year speed from where she normally is, you know what I mean? Micah says Ethan and Isaac are overreacting because there's not really anything they can do about it. Lydia's a grown woman. He's kind of in a similar situation though with his own relationship. So if Micah's out here like judging, you're currently in a weird relationship, so you can't really say much. Then the rehearsal starts. We see a little glimpse of Zach's parents, but they don't really seem to be involved with filming other than like the dad says to Barry like, oh, she's a special girl or whatever. They really weren't involved in filming at all. I wonder if they'll be in any of the next episode, like any talking or anything. I do wonder what Zach's family thinks of all this crap and what they think of the Plath family. And I wonder if they're also concerned with the speed of the relationship. I would be really interested to know all that. Then we end the episode with Ethan getting in his old ass truck and he drives off loud and fast right through where they're going to be getting married or like kind of close to it. So that was all of the episode. And then we get a coming up. So apparently this wasn't shown in any like of the coming up clips. So I don't know if this actually was filmed. It sounds like this was something they did really late at night. So the camera crew might have already went home. But apparently they, and I mean they, probably at least Ethan, Isaac, and Kim tried to talk to Lydia, but Zach refused to leave the room and Ethan got really pissed. And then Micah thinks the boys will object, which you don't really have to say like who objects, like say now or forever hold your peace. So I don't know why they would include it other than like production making them. I personally don't think that they're gonna do that. I think I would love to see it. I'm not gonna lie. I'd feel kind of bad for Lydia, but it would make for amazing television. But I don't think they'll object, honestly. And then Zach, in a talking head, says that they have absolutely no respect for Lydia's wedding and that there is serious damage caused to the relationship. So needless to say, I'm excited for the next episode, and I will see you guys next week.
Just it's really fake and gay. And I am actually an expert on all matters that are fake and gay.